guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another book review video. I'm going to be talking about all the books that I read in the month of September. This video is definitely coming late. I normally like to try to get it up at the beginning of the month, but you guys know how the beginning of the month can just get away from you. Stay tuned for the end. I'm going to talk about what my next book review video will be like, and it's doing something a little bit special, so stay tuned for that, and we'll talk about that at the end of this video. Let me kind of tell you, in case this is the first time you're watching, I'm going to give you a little like how the format of my videos are for the book reviews. I give you the review. The reviews are in the order that I read the books, not in the order of how I like the books. I also give you my rating up to 5 stars, and also the Goodreads rating at the time of filming this video. I also give you like a little synopsis of it, usually what the Goodreads synopsis is, and then I just tell you spoiler-free reviews of what I felt about the book. Also, I do have my notes here. I keep all my notes in Google Keep, so I have a really bad memory, so I just want to, sometimes I like to glance at my notes, just some things that I want to make sure I don't forget to tell you, so if it looks like I'm reading something, I am. Okay, let's get into the book reviews. The first book I read in the month of September was called Every Last Secret by A.R. Torrey. My understanding is that this author has written a lot of books, and I think under another name. I think her name was Alexandra or something like that. The Goodreads rating of this is a 4.03. My rating is 4 stars. So this was another find on Amazon Prime Reading. So I talked about this a little bit last month. If you guys don't know, Amazon, if part of your Amazon Prime subscription, if you have one of those, a lot of people just get it for the free shipping, and you get a lot of other perks with Amazon Prime, but one of the things you get is a whole database of books you can borrow for free. And you can borrow them for a long time. There's like no, I don't even think there's like a maximum amount you can borrow at one time. But you can borrow them, and so it's just kind of like a library. And there's a ton of books out there, a ton, and some really good ones that are, like really well-known books. Also some ones from just indie authors, people that are self-published. And I found a lot of good books on Amazon Prime. But this was a new author to me. I think, like I said, she has quite a few other books, and they're all highly rated. So I think I'll definitely be checking out more books. Let's talk about this one though, Every Last Secret. So Every Last Secret is about 2 women. We have Kat Winthrop and Nina Ryder. Kat has worked hard to get what she has. She has a gorgeous home, she has her social standing, and she has a very successful husband named William. Nina Ryder and her husband move into the house next door, which needs a lot of work and stuff, but they are just trying to get their foot in the door in this neighborhood and trying to get their social standing up. Kat greets them with open arms and warm hospitality. That's just how she is. She's a very classy lady, and that's, what you do. It's rude not to greet your neighbors. Nina Ryder has been hired by Kat's husband as a life coach. Nina wants to move up in the world and hopes that this new town, this new neighborhood, and this new home is moving in the right direction. But it's also reminding her of what she doesn't have, but what she wants is Kat's husband, William. Nina's secret infatuation grows. I mean, yeah, it gets crazy how much she gets obsessed with him. But she also starts to form kind of a strange relationship / friendship with Kat. For both women, the desire for a perfect life can turn perfectly dangerous. So there's a little synopsis of it. This book is told in multiple point of views, which I really love because I feel like it gives you a different perspective and different angles of the story. So, we have Nina's perspective, and then we have Kat's perspective. So instead of just seeing like kind of a one-sided thing, you're seeing both sides of what's going on. Nina she was constant in her crazy throughout this book. She's very transparent about her motives, and you will hate her constantly. There may be a couple of times that you may feel sorry for her, especially as you learn more about her past, but honestly, like, those moments are very short-lived. Very short-lived. None of the characters are really particularly likable, and the women are very much in control of the story. Very much in control. There's the husbands. Nina's married, and then we have Kat's husband. But the women are very much front and center in this entire story. The men are, also there, But I don't want to give too much away about the husbands because that would really give away the story. I'll just say that the husbands definitely are not perfect. The story and the plot line is definitely one that has been told before, but the writing on this was just so incredibly witty that you just kind of forgot that this is a story you hear all the time. A woman wants another woman's husband. I mean, you read about it all the time. But the way that the characters interacted really made me much more interested in the story. And I had a pretty good idea of how it was going to end, but I didn't care because of how it was written. I was just really, really engulfed into the story. There's so much drama, so many like wicked games. There's dark secrets, and just downright like savage moves that these women make. It is absolutely crazy. And it's through the entire book. I mean, there's just always, every page was just some sort of move from one of these women. It was crazy. It was definitely a roller coaster. The book ended with an epilogue that is from William's point of view. So it's really the first time that we're hearing from his point of view. And I think it gave a really good insight about him and his marriage. The only reason why I did not give this 5 stars is because the book really didn't hold many surprises, but it was really highly entertaining. But that's the only reason why I did not give it 5 stars. Book number 2 is called Woman Last Seen in Her 30s by Camille Pagan. The Goodreads rating on this was 3.78. My rating was 4 stars. This one was actually an audiobook. This was my very first ever audiobook. I'll tell you more about that experience, but first let's talk about what the book was about. This book is about Maggie Harris. She's 53. She has a good marriage. She has 2 children. She's perpetually anxious. She's also accumulated a list of semi-reasonable fears, falling air conditioners, the IRS, identity theft, skydiving, airbag recalls. She's just a little bit anxious about everyday life and things going on, but never once did Maggie ever worry that her husband of 30 years would leave her. One day, Adam walks out the door and everything that makes Maggie secure goes with him. She just doesn't know what to do. Only then does she realize that while she's been caring for everyone else, she's become invisible to the world and to herself. Maggie cautiously begins to rebuild her life with a trip to Rome, a new career, and even a rebound romance. But when a fresh crisis strikes and an uncertain future looms, she must decide how much will she risk to remain the woman she's become. So when I first read that premise, I was not really sure how I felt about the book, but I thought I'd just give it a try and let's see what happens. This was actually another free book through the Amazon Prime Lending Library, and they do have audiobooks as well. I actually didn't mean to download the audiobook part of this, but since I did, I went ahead and gave it a try. The audiobook was so fun. It was engaging throughout. The narrator was absolutely amazing. I've heard from some people that the narrator is what can kill an audiobook. This book was so well written. It was witty, believable. It was so entertaining. That being said, I'm not sure though I would have enjoyed it as much reading it. It's not really a genre that I normally gravitate towards. You guys know I love like thrillers. I love romantic comedies. And this one really, I think, be more in the like fiction category. Like it has some witty, funny parts. It didn't have any thriller at all, but it wasn't like laugh out loud, like romantic comedy. It was more serious. I don't know, it's more like if you take like a movie that's just a drama and it has maybe just some witty stuff in it, that's kind of what it's like. And I really never have gotten into books like that. Listening to the audiobook, you really felt the shock and devastation of the blind side of her husband leaving her. I'm not sure I would have really been invested in it when I was reading that. Maggie goes through like all the stages of grief. Her and her husband also had a trip scheduled to Rome that she decided to take on her own. It was for their anniversary and she was going to cancel it, and then she was talked out of it, and so she decided just to go by herself. Why not? This was the beginning really of truly starting her life over. And there were times that I was completely frustrated with her, completely. This is probably where I would have stopped reading the book. I just kind of felt like she was being too needy and I just wanted to shake her a few times. But honestly, as I was listening to it more and as she was growing and leading up to this trip she took, I realized that she really needed to do these things that she was doing to be able to gain some self-confidence, because she really lacked self-confidence and she needed to find out who she was as a person, not as a married person. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. Maybe what people have gone through getting divorced later in life. And I guess I just couldn't relate to that. And as I was reading it, I really started getting more invested in her and seeing from her perspective what was going on. The ending could have gone so many different ways. I was happy with the way, though, that it ended. This really was a wonderful story, and the audiobook really brings it to life. It was just a joy to listen to, and now I'm a huge audiobook fan. I never thought that I would say that. This author has written many books, which I think I will definitely explore in the future. I don't know if it's common for authors to use the same narrators, but if she was using the same narrator in any of her other books, I know I would love it, because the narrator, she was just really, really amazing in this book. Book number 3 was called The Girl in the Cabin by A.J. Rivers. The Goodreads rating was 3.99. My rating was 4.5. This is the first book of the Emma Griffin FBI mystery series. I absolutely love reading mystery series, especially when they're from like an FBI or a police detective or something like that's point of view. When FBI agent Emma finds a dead body on her porch with her name written on the dead man's hand, she uncovers a sinister clue to the mystery that has haunted her since her childhood. That really really brought me into the wanting to read this story when I read that. Emma is sent undercover to the small sleepy town of Feathered Nest to uncover the truth behind the strings of disappearances that has left the town terrified. To Emma, there is nothing that can be buried forever. Even though her own childhood has been plagued by deaths and disappearances, the only cases that she has not solved are the ones from her childhood. Her obsession with finding out the truth behind her past, which led her to join the FBI. With the past still haunting her, Emma must fight past her own demons to stop the body count rising. The woods have secrets, and this idyllic town has dark and mysterious ones. Either she reveals them or risks them claiming her too. In Feather Nest, nothing is what it seems. And this is a small town. I think at one point they talk about it maybe only having less than 1,000 people. So I came across this on Kindle Unlimited. I had never heard of this author before and really had no idea what to expect. And this author has a lot of books. The book was amazing. It was quick to get through. It was really a fast read, which I do find with crime mysteries, detective novels. They are usually really quick. They usually start out with a bang, because that's just what it's about, is about solving the mystery, solving the crime. I loved the main character in this book. Usually when reading murder mystery types of books, you can tell or at least have a good idea of who the murderer is by about halfway through. That's usually but not with this one. Honestly, I loved the investigating throughout this book, the chilling things that happened, and the cabin was so eerie. The way that the author described the cabin in this woods, you could just really picture it, and there's no way I would have stayed there. Absolutely no way I would have stayed in that cabin. But I honestly was shocked when we found out who the murderer was. The twist was so good, and it was super creepy as well. I really liked Emma. She's sharp, she's strong, she's confident. Now, is it really realistic as far as coming from a detective or FBI point of view? Probably not. A lot of the reviews on this book really talked about how FBI agent wouldn't do that. They wouldn't be doing that. That's, like I said, I always, you have to suspend reality a little bit when you're reading. If you like to read really, realistic books, then read nonfiction. I don't like to read nonfiction books. I prefer this. I do love true crime, but that's a little bit different. I don't like to read true crime. I like to listen to it on podcasts. But when I'm reading, I like to be entertained, and I don't really get all caught up in this realistic type thing. Even though this book is part of a series, it can be read as a standalone. You don't have to continue on through the series, because at the end, they do tell who the murderer is and the crime is solved, but the side story is not. And the side story is what got me extremely sucked into this book. And that's the side story about her past and uncovering the secrets of her past. And I have to know. I had to know so badly that the first thing I did when I finished reading this book is I went on Kindle Unlimited to see if they had the next book in the series, and guess what? They did. The fourth book I read in the month of September was called The Girl That Vanished, also by A.J. Rivers, which is the second book in the Emma Griffin series. The Goodreads rating on this was 4.13, my rating of 4.5. The only reason, I should have mentioned in the previous book, the only reason why I'm not giving these 5 stars is because they are not like the gripping thriller, just crazy roller coaster ride. These are, these are soft mysteries, although the previous book was really creepy in a lot of ways, but that's the only reason why I'm not giving them 5 stars. It's not one of those jaw-dropping books that you just love, those thrillers that are just so crazy that it just keeps you going. These are good books though. 4.5 is definitely a high rating from me. But I was happy to find that Kindle Unlimited has the next book in the series, and I believe they have all of the books in the series. This particular one is about a 10-year-old girl that has vanished on her way home from camp. And things took a turn for the worse when another child, a child that Emma knows, goes missing. Disappearance, death, and tragedies have followed Emma Griffin throughout her childhood. Obsession with finding out the truth behind her past was what led her to join the FBI. It's been months since the horror of Feathered Nest. After the shocking revelation of the last case, FBI agent Emma Griffin decides to take a much-needed vacation. But a phone call from Sheriff Sam Johnson, a man from her past, completely derails her plans. A young girl has disappeared and another child has gone missing. With the number count slowly climbing, Emma must now put her plans on hold, go back to her hometown, and face some ghosts from her past. When the mysterious package appears on her birthday, Emma can't shake the feeling that someone is watching her every move, but the question is who? Yeah, don't you want to read it now? I honestly just love how this author, she jumps right into the mystery from the very first page. There are so many characters that in this one that you think did it. I mean, she really makes you suspicious of pretty much every single person that she talks about in this book. By the end, I think I changed my mind probably 3 times on who I thought did it. And I would just keep going back and forth between these 2 or 3 different people. And I could not solve it. And that's what I really like about these books. You don't really know who it is until the very end, which is really, I feel like is unusual for a lot of crime mysteries. I definitely got all the cozy mystery feeling from reading this book. The book was straightforward, constantly moving. I really liked that in this book there is a murder mystery. There was definitely no shortage of twists and turns, and the ending was a shock. It really was. And in this book, of course, we had the side story of Emma and her past, and it definitely developed a lot more in this book. But again, it's still a mystery that we don't have the answers to yet. And I don't know if we have to wait till the very end to find all the answers out to her mystery. And I'm hoping not, because that would be dry. Like I said, I think in the previous review, I think there's 10 or 11 books in this series. And if we have to wait that long for the side story, it might fizzle out for me. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I definitely cannot wait to get the next book and continue on and hear Emma's journey. I really like her, and I feel like this second book she even developed more of her character and more of her FBI skills. I really thought improved in this book. But I'm hoping in the next book we find out more information. I did not pick up the next book. I was really tempted to, but I want to give you guys some variety, and I want to give myself some variety in my book reading. And so I did pick a different series to start reading, and we will talk about that book next. The last book that I read in the month of September was called The Last Sister by Kendra Elliott. The Goodreads rating on this is 4.06. My rating is 4.5. This was another audiobook selection from Amazon Prime. This is the first book of the Columbia River series, which is a spinoff of an older series. So I think when you pick up this book, it says it's number 1 in the series, but there's two numbers next to it. The other one is number 10 or something, because there are side characters in this series that have been in other series that Kendra Elliott has written. But this is my first Kendra Elliott book. I was actually drawn to this due to its location, because all of these books are set in Oregon. And I'm assuming all of her books are set in Oregon, because some of the side characters that's in previous series, they are from the Portland FBI office. So I'm assuming that they all are part of it, all in Oregon. So it was just kind of neat. I don't think I've ever read a book that was completely set in the state that I'm from, and that every single city that was mentioned I have heard of. So it was actually kind of comforting and kind of fun to read. And the narrator actually pronounced all of the cities right from what I can remember. And that is always kind of different too, because, you know, a lot of people don't pronounce the names right. So either the narrator was from this area or the author is from, I'm assuming the author could be from this area. And that's why, and maybe she said how to pronounce the names. I don't know how they do that with when their narrators are reading audiobooks, but I knew I wanted to do another audiobook to kind of keep me company. I was getting kind of tired of my podcast, so I just decided to do another audiobook while I was driving or while I was cooking or cleaning, that kind of thing, and that's what this book was. So this book follows three sisters. We have Emily, Madison, and Tara. Three sisters' secrets collide in a shocking novel of suspense. 20 years ago, Emily Mills's father was murdered, and she found his body hanging in the backyard. Her younger sister, Madison, claimed she was asleep in her room. Her older sister, Tara, claimed she was out with friends. The tragedy drove their mother to suicide and Tara to leave them forever. Leave town forever. The killer was caught. The case was closed. Ever since, Emily and Madison have tried to forget what happened that night until an eerily similar murder brings it all back. It also brings FBI Special Agent Xander Wells to the Oregon logging town. As eager as he is to solve the brutal double slaying, he is just as intrigued with the mystery of Emily and her sister's past. When more blood is shed, Xander suspects there's a secret buried in this town no one wants unearthed. So like I said earlier, I listened to the audiobook. This book had actually several narrators, so I got a different perspective. So the first audiobook I listened to was just one person doing all the voices. And this one actually had, I think it had 2 or 3 different voices. So the woman narrator did all the women's voices, and then maybe it was just 2, and the male narrator did the men's voices. And it was a little odd at first. It was a little bit hard to get used to. And then I really started to enjoy the different voices throughout, and it just seemed natural to me. This was definitely a solid thriller that reeled me in the instant that it began. There was a multitude of conflicts that kept me engaged in the storyline. There's just so much going on, so many different side stories going on. There was plenty of plot twists, lots of twists and turns, a few surprises along the way. It was just a constant pace though from scene to scene. I mean, it was just every scene was action packed. Great characters, a fast-moving plot. There was a romance between the FBI agent and one of the sisters, although that kind of fell a little flat for me. I really did not feel the chemistry between them at all, and I think it's just because one of the characters just was flat to me. I don't know, I just really couldn't get into her very well. It just wasn't very believable to me. The focus, though, really is mostly definitely on the case, not really the side story romance. That was just kind of there. But there's definitely no neglect of character and backstory development. You really got to know the characters. The characters are definitely, they're vulnerable, they're persistent, they're driven. They were really well developed. I do highly recommend this book series for the same reasons as the other book series I was talking about, the Emma Griffin FBI Mysteries. Because this is really, like I said, for those of you who like true crime, this really brings out that, crime solving, murder mystery, whodunit, suspense type feeling to you. It's just kind of this nice, cozy, curl up and not be frightened, because of just crazy, thriller stuff. It's not like that. It's just really more of just a cozy murder mystery that you can try to solve. And I love that. And those are all the books that I read in the month of September. So far in the month of October, I am getting ready to finish a book, and I am finishing up that audiobook. So I've not done a lot of reading this month, but that's okay, because here is what my plan is for my next book review video. My next book review video will be up in December, probably December 1st, actually. I will be doing Christmas videos, Vlogmas videos, whatever you call them, throughout the month of December. I'm making my plan now, and the first one I want to do is something that I've never done before. I've never made this kind of video before because I just started my book reviews, but I also have never read holiday books before. I am a huge fan of Lifetime Christmas movies, Hallmark Christmas movies, huge fan. You guys probably know that. Huge fan of Christmas music. and I just love all that stuff, but I have never read a holiday book. And I want to do that, and I want to take the whole rest of this month of October and the whole month of November, and I'm only going to read holiday books. So I'm starting to make a list. I've been looking at old like YouTube videos of holiday book reviews, looking at those. I'm looking on Goodreads, and I'm making myself a list of ones that I can find on Amazon Prime and one I find on Kindle Unlimited, or ones right now. A lot of holiday books are like $1.99, So I am gathering all those books. That's what I'm gonna, as soon as I finish this one book I'm reading right now, I have just a few pages left. I'm gonna start on the holiday books, and my plan is to try to get 10 books read through the rest of this month and all of November, and then I will film like my top 10 Christmas holiday books to share with you guys. And so that is the plan. Let me know though, because I have some time. So let me know any of your favorite Christmas or holiday books that you have read. And it could even be something about winter and snow. I mean, I don't care. I just want something for like kind of the season of reading. So let me know down in the comment section if there's any holiday books that I have to read so I can add them to my list, because I think I have about 6 books right now. I have my list right here. Yeah, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 7 books right now on my list. And like I said, I'd like to do 10, but I would like to read more than 10. That way, in case some of them kind of just fall flat or I don't like and I don't want to recommend, then because I want to make sure that all 10 that I talk about in that video are ones that I highly recommend. So I don't want any duds in there. So I want to try to make a list of like 12 to 15. I hope I can read that many books. I just have this feeling that these holiday books will be very quickly read. I have a feeling. The book review video that I do will not be super long, so don't think it's going to be 10 books and it's going to be like 2 hours long. No, I probably will not give a lot of review on it. I'll just give you my rating, and I'll give the Goodreads rating, and I'll give a quick synopsis, and that's it. That's all it'll be. Since I am recommending all of them, that's all it'll be. But anyway, let's go ahead and close up this video. Let me know again any recommendations for Christmas, holiday, winter books that you have for me. Let me know if you've read any of the books that I mentioned in this video, and go check them out, you guys. This was a really good reading month. It was kind of like not super like well-known popular books, but I love the idea of free books through Amazon Prime and also Kindle Unlimited. Right now I'm doing the free trial. They always have like a 30-day free trial, so check that out if you haven't checked that out. I will put a link to both of those down below so you can check those out, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.